do I make people others are happy to agree with your opinions and requests? In fact, those who feel lucky and are grateful want to know how to do this.
Bagaimana sih caranya?
It is a magical way of creating desires in one's mind. A wish, so that they want, give you what you want. It is an art of creating obligations in one's mind. That, what you want should be, and they should be to approve of that. Ask for more than you expect, and you want. There were many ways that could be used, for the conquerors, to create obligations, in one's mind. The only way, is to ask for more, than what you expect. This is the technique where you, multiply the amount you want. Then the person asked will bid, of that amount. Or you yourself make concessions. By reducing the number of requests. At this point, we create obligations, in the mind of the other person. Or people, that we ask. But unfortunately, in everyday life, many people are still hesitant to use this method. For some reason, mostly because of fear formed by their own thoughts. Okay, now let's just name an employee, Booty. It took Booty months to get the courage to apply for a salary increase. To the leader where he works. However, when the appointed day arrived, he was determined to meet his leader. He's been doing the exercises. What is there to say? How to deliver, and many other things. In the morning before leaving for work that day, he began to hesitate and think again. Do I deserve to ask salary increases? Along the way, many more came to mind. Many things were raging inside his brain. What if it gets rejected? Or other. Arriving at the office, his mind was more rocking, his confidence disappeared, I don't know where. All the words he had memorized were all gone. And he's already on the line, wanting to cancel plans, to ask for a raise. Have you ever encountered a situation like this? Like getting involved with the conversation, with oneself, which is very detrimental. When under pressure, we seem to be creative. Make up questions, and answer those questions yourself. That one doesn't necessarily happen. Under stress, we create thousands of imaginary crises. When under pressure, we too, are like experiencing a series of disasters that we may not necessarily face. Have you ever thought, how many bad things, do you think, actually happened, or didn't? Or, you made it happen yourself. Which initially didn't happen, is actually happening now. Think about it. How many times in your life? It is a waste of your energy to think about bad things like this. Isn't it a silly thing? We spend our time, for things that are only our imagination. The time we have, should be used for more positive things. In fact, we use it, for things that end up harming ourselves. Okay. We come back to Booty's story. If indeed Booty is sure, already deserves a raise, why should he be afraid? With the exception, this has been done too many times. And it is not in accordance with the circumstances, and his performance. We are not just, we have to be brave enough to convey what we want. Even we must be brave, to ask for more. And when we decrease the value of our demand, it creates an obligation, on the minds of others. So at that time, Booty hoped to increase his salary by 20%. So, he should have the courage to ask for a 40% salary increase. So Booty started talking to his Pimpinanya, like this. I purposely met you, to apply for a salary increase. But don't worry, you won't have any objection to this request. I'm going to show you why it should be done. With this, Booty tried to convince that his request is reasonable. Because usually, leaders, if you hear something like this, will start looking for ways to refuse, or something else. But Booty is quite smart. By stopping that, before it happened. Then Booty continued. Let's take a look at the 3 years' progress, sir, since I took over this division. Sales increased 5-fold. And more importantly, profits increased to 2 billion. Note, here Booty plays 3 years of direct data. This sounds bigger, compared to Booty submitting annual data, which are probably only hundreds of millions. In contrast, if we are dealing with a marketing, they try to convey, to the smallest form. You only pay 5,000 per days, cheap no. But in this position, Booty said it should be. Read the data, mentioning the most time. Booty submitted all data and information in detail, and in writing, and could be trusted. Then he continued. By multiplying the profit to 5 times. You will think, I'll ask for a 5-fold increase in salary too. Of course, I don't think so. Deliberately implanted it into the mind of its leader. That he could ask for a 5-fold increase in salary. Because he has succeeded in increasing the company's profit 5 times. But he deliberately stopped it, so that the leader would not be surprised. So he spoke right away. Of course I didn't think about going that big. Then the boss started talking. Budi, if you ask for a 5-fold increase in salary. Of course that's impossible. Because, how could your salary be greater than my salary? Yes, boss. It's possible that, with everything I managed to accomplish, it should be worth it. But here, I'm only asking for a 40% salary increase from my previous salary. And for the smooth running of my duties in the field, I also applied for a car new service. Here, had improved more than he expected. Namely, a 20% salary increase. He doubled it. Plus, ask new official car. Actually, there was nothing wrong with Budi's official car. But here, he was still trying to ask for more than he expected. After 20 minutes of discussion, an agreement was finally found. Budi received a 30% increase in salary, and for a new car. Postponed first, until further review. Here, Budi managed to get the boss to see it his way. However, even so, his boss feels he is great, because he managed to persuade Budi. The highly accomplished employee, what the company really needs, is willing to accept a salary increase, is less than what he asked for and submitted. In fact, Budila who succeeded, got what he expected, even more. Because, initially only hoping for 20%, now even was given 30%. And again, going forward after review. There is a possibility, replace with a new car. There are several reasons why this is more, so better, and interesting. First, you may end up getting more than you expected. Second, it leaves you with an opening to negotiate. Third, the giver will feel happier, because he feels, giving, less than what we ask. Here, there is one thing that needs to be understood. Sometimes people are already tempted by added value. And begin to feel, it should be. I get over. Remember, if it is not fair and has a solid foundation, you will only make it difficult for yourself. The technique of asking for this more. It's a process, a technique, to get us what we want. Instead of making it your real request. Ask for more than you expect, for you to get. With that, you have room to negotiate. And that moment is achieved. It makes other people feel obligated to you. To do what you want. However, don't fall for it by changing it. Become demands. Okay. Extraordinary, isn't it? Please use this, for the positive. In order to help you, in your everyday life. Okay, I thank you. See you in the next video. Which is even more extraordinary.
Bagaimana sih caranya?
Chào,